Hey fish friends, how's it going? Zenzo with Tazawa Tanks. So I'm in Hawaii. I'm taking kind of a mini vacation right now, visiting some family, and I thought I would take some footage of some fish while I'm here. I went to the Hilton Hawaiian Village, which is Hilton Hotel in Waikiki, and took some footage of some of the great ponds that they have. And now I'm at the Honolulu Aquarium, and it's kind of a small aquarium, but some of the things that's really cool about this aquarium is the lighting that they use for their reef tanks, which is all natural lighting from the sun. Their coral farm over here, which I'll show you, and they have an Asian Arowana. One of the things I love about visiting Hawaii is that every body of water, every body of fresh water, every body of salt water has some type of life in it. I'm actually at the Hilton Hawaiian Village in Waikiki in Honolulu on the island of Oahu. And oftentimes when I'm here with my wife and kids, we will stay at this hotel just because it's really easy. And they have these great freshwater ponds all throughout the resort. Here you can see some dovai. So sorry about the glare, but I love these dovai. Here's another one of the ponds that I really love. This is kind of in between a couple of the hotel buildings, and they have like a bunch of Central and South American fish mixed with African cichlids and koi fish. So it's pretty amazing. Here you can see a couple nice looking Oscars. There's a couple large Oscars there. There's Midas cichlids and red devils. You can see that one there with the big nuchal hump on his head. All the smaller fish that you see in there, the blue fish, those are all mbuna, and also smaller red devils. And then in here they even have they've got koi fish in here. They have a giant paku. There's carp swimming all over the place. So many different fish. Here you can see kind of the Oscar and the other fish are interacting. That big fish that you can see there kind of in the center left of the screen, that is a big paku. Now it's kind of hard to kind of tell you the size, or be able to see the size on the video, but that fish was at least, I want to say, close to 30 inches, if not larger. It was really, really big. And there it is, just swimming around in a pond. Definitely not the kind of fish you'd want to have in an aquarium. So if you do have a paku, hopefully you have a giant pond and not a small tank. There you can see the koi fish swimming around. Here we are at the other part of that same pond where you have more koi fish swimming with the African cichlids. So it's a really fun kind of resort to walk around, see all the wildlife. They've got birds and other things. I think they've got reptiles and stuff there. When I stayed at this hotel, I forgot when I was there last, maybe last summer, I actually toured around with the wildlife director, and he gave me a private behind-the-scenes tour. And he took me through all the different systems that they have, and we talked a lot about their fish, and it was really interesting. But again, so many fish here. The mbuna for them are a little bit of a problem just because they breed so prolifically that every year they have to catch hundreds of them apparently and give them away, or sometimes they have to destroy them actually, just because the population explodes and they can't handle it. So anyway, more koi fish. For those of you that may not know, koi is kind of one day I want to have koi. It is a passion of mine that I have not been able to fulfill. And every time I see koi fish, I just kind of lose my mind, and I love them. Here we got more African cichlids just kind of swimming around. And this is just like right out in the front of their hotel, just right on a busy street. They've got this kind of big water feature in this pond, and the African cichlids just swim around and breed. Now they're all mbuna. There aren't any peacocks or anything. But anyway, yeah, just really cool. And now we're in a shopping mall. Again, more koi fish. So even the shopping mall, this is the Ala Moana shopping mall in Honolulu. Even the mall has a koi pond. So I just love these fish. I love the one with the all white body and the red on its top of the forehead there. Just really beautiful. Hopefully one day I will have the ability to have a pond, but at this time I don't. Now we're going to transition over to the Waikiki Aquarium, and I'm going to take you through some of my favorite tanks here. I did film this last time I was here in Hawaii. It must have been last summer, or at least the last time I filmed in Hawaii was last summer, and this is one of my favorite tanks ever of any public aquarium, and it's simple. It's, you know, looks pretty simple, but this is a brackish tank, so I'm going to be quiet here, and you're going to hear kind of the guy talking about them. Is this full? It's brackish, right?
Yeah, it's almost fresh.
Is it okay?
And we got a black percula clown that's living in it. So there he is back there.
Yeah.
Amazing, huh? It's like only the specific gravity is like only 10%. So it's almost pure fresh water.
So it's 1.010?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's real low insulin.
Nice.
I know. So we got our carpet anemone with the...
Right? See, that's cool, man. It's like, I love it.
You got a cardinal in there too, right?
Yep, pajama cardinals, yep.
Yeah. Ooh,
So again, you can see this tank is amazing. It's a mangrove tank, and you can probably guess why it's one of my favorite. Low salinity, only 1.010, so pretty neat to see. Now, one of the things I'm going to point out for a lot of these aquariums coming up is the lighting. Now, if you look at this tank here, and you'll see some of the other reef tanks as I walk around, the lighting is really brilliant. The corals are vibrant, the fish look beautiful, and the water parameters look just amazing and pristine. We'll talk about the water here in a moment. But back to the lighting, it's the sunlight. So look up above, you can see how the sunlight is shining down into the aquarium, and it is giving all the life in the aquarium the amount of light and the exact type of light that they require. Now look at this giant clam. This thing is like 4 feet across, maybe 3 or 4 feet across, and probably 6 feet plus front to back. This thing was big. It could probably fit a small human inside the gap there. But anyway, looking at the sunlight, you can just see how amazing it is. This is about as natural of an environment as you can create for an aquarium. And this is probably why I enjoy this place so much. One being the lighting, and 2 being a fish that you're going to see here in just a few seconds, which I've only seen one in my life, and it's this one, and I've seen it a few times. So anyway, back to the lighting, just amazing. Look at that harlequin tusk there, just kind of swimming in and out of the coral. The coral look amazing. It's just a really, really neat way of lighting the tanks. Now, even the kind of relatively bare tanks, this tank is just scaped with some lava rock that they, put in there, and just some simple fish. But again, with that sunlight and the way the sun hits the fish, it looks really brilliant. Here we got a little eel kind of popping his head out. There was a few eel in this tank, but I could only capture this guy at this time when I was filming. But I love the coralline algae. Something about the way coralline algae is just amazing. And, like every public aquarium, there's always some large exhibit with some tuna and grouper and sharks. Most fish geeks like myself kind of walk right past it, but still I can appreciate it for what it is. And it's a great way, obviously, of bringing customers into the aquarium and supporting it. Now we're getting to the favorite part of the aquarium for me, and probably for most of you. That is an Asian Arowana. Yes, that is an Asian Arowana in the United States. Obviously, they are not legal to keep in any of the states in the United States. However, this is one that was confiscated along with the freshwater stingrays, which are also not legal in the state of Hawaii. So there are a lot of animals that are not legal in Hawaii because they can be released and then they become invasive and they can outcompete the natural wildlife there. So Asian Arowana obviously is not legal due to them being on the endangered species list and the United States not allowing them to be imported. But the rays are not allowed in the state of Hawaii because of their bodies of water. And then they just kind of talk about how they confiscate the fish and some of the fish that are not allowed to be kept. This is kind of a natural habitat. I wasn't really able to capture the fish, although he's kind of hiding under the moss there. But Hawaii does have some freshwater fish that are native to the islands, and there's only 2, I believe. And this one, the exhibit kind of shows kind of their habitat. They live in pools, and then they can actually climb up the waterfalls. I think it's like a freshwater goby, but he's kind of hiding right there underneath that moss. But anyway, I love this kind of freshwater section that they have. These are some Mozambique tilapia, so tilapia from the continent of Africa, and you see these in bodies of water all around Hawaii, some of their pools and ponds. Now check out this tank. This is a giant planted tank. It's actually bigger than it looks. It goes way back. It's super deep. And those are Altum angels. And Altums, as you know, if you know, they are quite large and beautiful angelfish. So those are some Altums in there. They've got some Congo Tetras, which I'm falling in love with, and a bunch of other community fish in a planted aquarium. And I'm sure, again, this tank is lit by the sun. So what a great way of having a planted tank, by having tropical sunlight come through a skylight and hit it every day, and just give the plants the right amount of sunlight that they need to flourish in this environment. So really, really cool. I just had to capture this guy real quick just because he's kind of unique. And then again, these reefs are just, I'm not a saltwater guy. I'm not a reef tank guy. Maybe one day. But I really can appreciate the beauty and, how they've scaped these tanks. And again, that lighting, that sunlight, there's just something about that that's just really, really amazing. Here's some seahorses. They had a seahorse exhibit and a sea dragon exhibit. And these are always really interesting to see, very beautiful, almost like artwork. Every time I see a seahorse exhibit, I really enjoy it. Well, I said I was going to talk about the water. Well, when I was there last year, I talked to the employees, and they said that they actually pump the ocean water right in, and that's how they provide the water for the reef tanks. Look at this outside reef, super cool. It's like a tide pool. So this is kind of almost like what you would see if you were, out in the reef area doing some snorkeling. They've got the state fish in there, that triggerfish, and the name of that triggerfish is Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua is how it's pronounced. I probably didn't do it exactly the way it is, but anyway, it's a really cool fish. I see them all the time when I'm snorkeling out there in Hawaii and out in the ocean. But again, this is a really cool exhibit that you wouldn't be able to see in a lot of areas because of the climate in here in Hawaii, where it's 80 degrees pretty much all of the time. The water is perfect. They're pumping in fresh ocean water, so they don't really have to worry about, huge filtration systems. They've got, amazing water. And then they do talk a little bit about conservation of coral. This is a kind of a coral farm that they've set up where they're growing some coral frags to kind of show how you can sustainably have an aquarium and grow coral and be responsible. Yeah. And that's just a great way to show the public. So that was it for the aquarium. Now we're at the end of my trip. This was actually the day that I was leaving, but this is one of my favorite places to visit as far as freshwater. This is the botanical gardens on the island of Oahu. Beautiful, picturesque location. But wait till you see all the fish in this pond, or lake, I guess. It's not really a pond. There are thousands and thousands of fish in this lake. And here you can see them. These are all red devil / Midas, whatever. There's a bunch of tilapia in this lake as well. Who knows what's out there in the deeper parts? I would, love to imagine there being some crazy fish out there that have been released. I do know that there's some other ponds, and we did go to try to see them, but we couldn't find any fish. It has some other fish released in there, like red-tailed cats and stuff like that. But anyway, in this pond, they have thousands of fish, and they swim right up. Actually, I got bit on the hand last year because I stuck my hand down there trying to grab a fish, and it put my whole thumb inside of his mouth and bit down on my thumbnail. It's pretty funny. They've got some giant carp in here as well. You can see those big black ones right there swimming around. So a lot of people will come here and bring fish food. Normally, my brother's a big fish guy, so he brought some food with him, and we'll throw food out there. There's a bunch of plecos. You can see the pleco right there. Plecos are all over. Plecos are actually in the backyard of my parents' house. There's a stream that runs behind my parents' house, and there's a bunch of plecos in there and other cichlids and things like that. But anyway, kind of a great way to close out the trip. We actually stopped by these gardens before I had to head back to the airport and fly home. So I thought I would just kind of share this last little moment. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for coming along on my short little Hawaiian journey. We'll catch you on the next one.